This is a program about contemplative psychology and introduction to something called Karuna Training. And we offer these live introductions just to get to know us a little bit and get to know our style. And today we're going to be leaning into elemental magic in our everyday life, and we'll use our own experience for that. So I'm Melissa Moore. I'm the steward of Karuna Training and one of the co-founders, and we started in Europe many years ago, and we've been in 9 countries, and we're a very small operation, but we're a unique operation in that we certify people in contemplative psychology. And some people don't care about the certification. They just want to combine Western psychological approaches to Buddhist psychology, or what we call the Abhidharma. So we offer some freestanding classes. Karuna means compassion in Sanskrit, and one of our next classes coming up is on compassion. So maybe this is an opportunity for you to consider joining us in that class. So what makes Karuna really unique is that we draw on this sacred mandala from Vajrayana Tibetan Buddhism of the 5 Buddha families. Many of you know what mandala is, probably. It's kind of become a word that's used often, but what it really is a meditation aid, often a picture of a deity, or it's used in Tibetan Buddhism as a picture of a deity often, which is living in like a sand mandala or something like that, a sand painting. But there's mandalas in many, many traditions, and it just is a picture or a dimension of a worldview. In the case of Karuna Training, we draw on the 5 Buddha family mandala, which is purely coming from Tibetan Buddhism. It's really coming from Tantra into Tibetan Buddhism, combining with the Bun religion there, and coming up with a very interesting ancient technique that is really quite non-linear and invites us into a relationship, in particular with the elements. On the outer aspect, the physical aspect, the embodied aspect are the elements, and the inner aspect are the emotions. And then there's another aspect of understanding that emotions and all of the mind can be mapped on this mandala, but the emotions, often they can show up as challenging or negative on the one hand, and we can get into trouble with our emotions or suppressing them or acting them out. But on the other side, there are wisdom and there are teachers. So we have to learn how to enter into relationship with our teachers. And so we start with the elements, because the elements are very natural. And actually, as human beings, in our DNA, we have more memory in our embodied sense of interacting with the elements in a way, because it's really only since the Enlightenment period that we lost that wisdom of interconnectedness with the world that we live in, because we believe ourselves to be separate from it with the Enlightenment age. There's really a split between humans in nature, which is really arbitrary because we are nature. So we have to find our way back, and the best way to find our way back is through common, ordinary rituals. So I wanted to show you, I have my elements here, and I have them always, and I use them every day. See it? It is a little elemental tray. Yeah, and I have on it a representation of earth and water, fire, and I always use incense for air because it's smell and it's everywhere. So I happen to like divination a lot, just because I know it's a window into my own mind. So I use different cards. Right now I'm on a stint with the Green Witch cards because it's so ordinary. It talks about like brooms and weather and snow and the seasons, and I just want to be very basic and elemental right now. So I was telling you a little bit about Karuna Training, and what makes us unique is that we draw on this 5 Buddha family mandala, And the outer aspect involves space and earth, water, fire, and air. And these elements, of course, don't show up in a neat mandala. They show up intermingled, and they're what we're made of and what the world is made of. Yet we often are not attuned to them in a way that we can be, that will ignite a certain wisdom within us and collaboration with the earth and the planet that we know already. I believe we know it already, and we just have to reawaken it. And Trungpa Rinpoche introduced the Five Buddha Family Mandala to his Western students long ago, and in particular, he gave us a practice called Maitri Space Awareness, which is lying in different postures and originally in different colored rooms, but we now understand that we can use glasses that color the space. And we're kind of delineating the five Buddha family energies in order to evoke our true nature. And we see the whole picture. We see the whole schism, because the inner aspect of the mandala is our emotions and also our wisdom, because emotions are there for a reason. So that's all what we learn in Karuna training. But Trungpa Rinpoche offered this, I feel, like a gift to us. And really, in the elements, we're learning a kind of co-emergent manner of recognizing our relationship to the elements and how much they inform our psychology. And there's a lot of paradox in working with the elements. So Trungpa Rinpoche said if we understood the elements and how they interacted with one another, we would understand everything there is to know about karma, which I just think is quite interesting to think about. So that's a lot of the things that we visit in Karuna. But today, what I would like to do is kind of explore the five Buddha family elements one by one through a kind of guided meditation. As I guide you on how the elements manifest in our bodies, how they show up in our daily life, how they energetically affect our world, and I'll give you hints towards what emotionally they mean. And I'd just like you to either contemplate that, just feel them, hear my words, and also understand that it's sort of easier to relate to the elements when we're start with the weather or our daily interactions with just the ordinary elements in our daily life, but there's a much deeper living understanding of the elements within us, because that's what we're made of. So there's a lot of language we use around the elements. Just think about it. We say things like we're washed up, or somebody is washed up, or we're blown away, or we're burnt out, or we're grounded or ungrounded, or we're spaced out. So we know all these states of mind very well. And so we're just going to go a little bit deeper into how we know them. So take a good posture. And I'll just let you drop into space for a moment. Just wherever you are, you don't have to do anything in particular. Just let your body rest in however you're sitting. And raise your gaze away from the screen and just kind of notice the environment that you're sitting in. You can have open or closed eyes. But if you're open, make sure that there's light in the room, and maybe you have a window you can look out. So you can be really in touch with the environment, because when we talk about the elements, this is a meditation and action more, daily life, contemplation, and interaction with our world, ourselves and our world. So begin by tuning into the element of space. Space is the empty element that accommodates everything. But we can touch space by settling and relaxing and breathing into our bodies and opening up to your current surroundings and feel the space, feel the environment. Does it feel spacious? Are you in contact with space externally and internally? There's so much space, and we can meet space by dissolving into space openly and wakefully, or we can use space to space out and dull ourselves and ignore things. Space has two aspects. So just notice your relationship to space right now. You can write this down or you can just remember it, because I am going to ask you to go into a dyad later. So you might want to remember what your relationship to space is in this moment. Don't judge it. Next, let's explore the water element. Consider your daily interactions with water, such as washing, cooking, cleaning, drinking, making coffee first thing in the morning, or tea. What is the water element in the weather where you are? What is the humidity where you are right now? What does it feel like? Can you feel a moisture or dryness in the air? Feel it internally. Are you hydrated? Water is naturally flowing, accommodating, and adaptable to everything. It goes into every crevice. And water can be affected drastically by temperature, can freeze, be boiling, be dammed up, and coagulate in our bodies. Just feel into your relationship to the water element in this moment. You can make a note of it. Next, let's explore the earth element. Feel the ground that you're either sitting on or standing on or lying on, the earth aspect of and substance of what you're lying on or sitting on or standing on. Feel the earth under you and it holding your weight, the gravity of it. Are you right this moment feeling grounded, stable, resourced, and connected? The earth is about resourcing, it's about belonging. The earth is very generous and accommodating to everyone and everything. Earth can be luscious, fecund, gracious, idyllic, as well as starved and frozen, barren, unstable, sinking, exploding, or desert-like. It's multiplicitous. What is your relationship to the earth element in your daily life, internally and externally, where you live, how you live on the earth? Let's feel into, with great respect, the power of fire. Feel internally your own fires right this moment through your temperature and the temperature you feel in the environment. Something we're always in touch with, but not always conscious about. Feel or imagine or look at the sun, the warmth, and the magnifying aspect of fire. This is our life force. We use fire in cooking, cleaning, staying warm in our homes, bathing. What does fire feel like in your life right now? Are you passionate about anything in particular, or is your flame running low? Notice fire and make a note of it. I'll let the plane usher us into wind. If you can hear it, it's going over my head. Just kind of apropos. Environmentally, is there movement going on above and outside of you? Are you breathing easily inside? Is life a cool breeze of delight, or are you in some windy turbulence, rushing, catching up? Wind is always one directional, and it always connotes change. The Tibetans consider wind the most powerful element, the most destructive element, and I think we see that every day in the news. Wind can scramble us and our sense of direction, leaving us wandering and wandering. Where are we going? At the same time, wind is a driving force of accomplishment. What are we accomplishing currently in our life with wind? What's our driving force? You can make a note of your wind element and then come back, if you would, for a moment. Come back so I can see you. Make sure you're all still here. Great. Okay, what I'd like to do is put you in dyads, and if you don't want to go in a dyad, just don't accept the room, and then I'll just orchestrate it. So there might be 3 in one room, but you have about 10 minutes to talk about this contemplation and the elements in your everyday life to learn from each other. Allow each person to speak one at a time. If there's 3 of you, you have about 3.5 minutes each. If there's 2, you have about 5 minutes each, okay? So let's see where we are. Is that okay? We just go and see, and then we'll have a discussion. The reason we do breakouts is so that you can have a taste of how we operate in Karuna Training, because we do a lot of one-on-one with each other, and we very much use who's ever present, including at the Karuna Lives, but also in our trainings. The community is very central to our learning, just like in life. The community is very central to our learning. So if you like to explore personally with others, then maybe Karuna would be a really good container for you. So I'm going to rouse your appreciation for the elements in your body and your mind and in your world. They're teachers that we can evoke daily. I haven't spoken much about ritual. I wrote an article about it. It's hard to, I kind of chose to have us work together. I always find these Karuna lives are really good for us to just kind of taste a little bit of the work. Um, but I'm wondering what came up for people, and you can just unmute. Please tell about your own experience. These are confidential. Just, don't tell other people's story, just your own story. But did you have any insights or any thoughts about the elements in a different way than you normally do with this contemplation?
I can start.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think I realized that I really haven't been um, really using. I mean, other than the earth element, I've been going in the water and really trying to get grounded and soak for, just sit to my waist and I feel like all the elements are completely out of balance, and I've been like falling off my bike, and not in a bad way. I mean, I just feel like I can't could barely do a tree pose in a yoga class the other day, and so I feel agitated because of the fires, because of the smoke, the wind, um, the dryness of it all, and but I also feel like, oh, this is just one more dimension that I can add to my practice and, just soothe, the distress that, has just been so evident um, and I work as a therapist and I find people are coming in and I'm not being boundaried, or when I am, it's too
Yeah,
more extreme. And so it's a good empowerment session to kind of like, oh, this is a good dimension to add back into my practice. So I appreciate that.
I appreciate you being so open about everything, Karen. If there was an element you were going to draw on right now that you would want to bring into your life more, what would it be? And we can talk about what element from a Buddhist perspective, what that would bring to you. Is there an element that intuitively comes up for you?
I think the element of earth is what I really need to just have on a daily basis,
Yeah.
weekly basis, but
So it's always about nurturing ourselves, about worthiness, about this is where all our resources come from, and how we treat the earth, how we treat our bodies are in parallel. How we nurture ourselves, how we understand generosity, giving and receiving, and the inseparability of our relationship to the earth. And it's really hard these days because, we're so out of balance with our consumerism, right? And just for survival, right? I too use Amazon, unfortunately, because I can't find things otherwise. And I have to confess it because I feel like, that's really out of balance. But I see that probably retail isn't going to be around. You know what I mean? Like we're in a different kind of relationship. So anyway, I just uh, wish you a lot of earth element and groundedness and generosity towards yourself.
thank you. That was
Yeah.
a perfect synopsis of what I needed to hear. So thank you for that.
Anyone else? What comes up around this? And you're in Colorado too, like me, so the dryness is very palpable and scary with the fires. Yeah, others, what comes up with these elements? Please, if you're open to sharing. Yeah, Karina.
Yeah, I'll share. I'll just right now I feel like I'm experiencing a lot of compression. Like I have a lot of I've been waking with a lot of headaches lately and trying to figure out why. Um and it feels like it's related to space. Like I'm trying to do too much right now. Um and that feels related also to like fire. Like I've been really and it's related to water too. Like I was explaining, like I've been waking up with too much moisture in my body. Like I feel like I'm
Ah,
sweating a lot and like I'm just saturated and burnt out at the same time.
Yeah.
Um, I try I've been trying to spend a lot more time in my garden this summer, which makes me pretty happy, so I feel pretty grounded in that way. Um, I think I'm noticing that the ritual aspect is gone in my life, which was more relevant maybe a couple years ago. Like after I first lost my husband, he was Nepalese and he died suddenly in a plane crash. But after that, I he was a very ritualistic person. Like coming from Nepal, we did a lot of rituals together, like water offerings and burning incense and making offerings. Like I used to give like fruit offerings to an altar, and um, I haven't been doing those things lately. And I've been noticing that I wish I was. It was a slower pace of life for me to make offerings and to include that in my life. And um, I'm noticing I want to bring that back in, and
Yeah.
that's
I'm
yeah.
lighting, yeah, I'm lighting this incense for you, Karuna,
Thank
because,
you. Yeah,
yeah, just for space
yeah.
and for awareness, because the smell and the air, because you didn't mention wind, which
I think
moves things, you know.
that's I wrote that down. Wind is something I feel like I need more of in my life. I need more movement, and I just wanted to point out I'm still wearing my Karuna
Yeah,
threads.
me too.
Yep.
So, Corinna, may I share, is in our cohort currently that we just started in, when was that? June?
June, yeah, end
May.
of June. Yep. Yeah,
Thank you
beautiful.
so much. Thank you, beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Others, please don't be shy. It's fun.
So I was just thinking about my relationship to the elements, and I've hit an age, I'm probably about your age, Melissa, maybe a little older, um, where I feel like my elements are dissolving.
Hmm.
My earth element is dissolving. I need a new knee.
Hmm.
I guess it's the wind element of mind. Um, it's just completely shifted
Hmm.
the way my mind works. And I need to I need to start transitioning. I probably got 20 years left in me, but I don't know. But I need to start transitioning to the to familiarization with the bardos.
Oh, good. Come to
Yeah.
our Bardo class. I'm doing a Bardo class in Berkeley, for Berkeley.
I saw that. I saw that. I might go down for that. I pulled out my book, which I've had on my shelf all these years.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I might see you.
Good. Do it. Please come from Covelo. California, upper northern California, you're also dealing with the fire element up there so intensively, right? And
Yeah, we're kind of getting used to it in a way. I mean, I don't. I'm down on the valley floor. Tina was up on the hills, and I have a friend who just had the third fire go by his house, and he was going, "Oh yeah, you gotta get used to it. You pack up, you leave." But it's shocking. It's very shocking.
it is. It is. I'm in Denver because of fires in California, so I know it very personally. So thank you, Carol, so much for sharing. How about Tina or Doc? Would you all come? And I hope to see you, Carol, in the Transcending Madness class. I'll talk about it at the end. That would be so great.
Okay, you
Um,
might.
Tina and Doc, what about you all? Do you have a contribution here in this last few minutes? Or just questions or thoughts?
Well, one of the reasons I signed up, I was interested in ritual.
Yeah.
Real quick comment. I actually have all the elements represented in my tattoos.
Yeah. Wow. Show. Can you show and tell?
Um, well, I have a couple of birds,
Yeah.
and here's a turtle.
Yeah. Cool.
Um,
Earth element. Yeah.
and then I have manta rays, for the water
Wow.
elements.
Yeah. Beautiful. And space and wind. What about
Mhm.
those? Well, I guess wind and the
Yeah,
birds.
wind with the birds too,
Yeah. Beautiful.
but also fire with the birds because it's a firehawk.
Ah, wow. So great. So you were really elementally plugged in.
Hmm.
Were you conscious of that when you made those when you made those tattoos?
No, no, I wasn't. It was, each of them were symbolizing. It's trying to bring to the outside what's on the inside. Is
Beautiful.
And these each represent different thresholds of my journey, and it just happened to be I was leading a retreat, and was working on some ceremony for the elements too, and animal imagery just kind of came together.
Love it. Yeah. I love to work with the animals as well. I have a lot going on right now with buffaloes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, through some ancestor work, I had to discover that my family, my ancestors being settlers here, were involved in this buffalo elimination. So I feel so. I'm going to go to a buffalo um, refurbishing buffalo to Montana, a buffalo
Oh,
release they call it. Yeah,
how
just
wonderful.
yeah, I just have this thing when I see buffalo, especially when they're in herds, like in Yellowstone, or that's the only place I've
Hmm.
really seen them, or sometimes in Colorado, but then they're on farms. But oh, there is a wild herd in Colorado, but I just feel so humble and so grateful that they're still here. So yeah, thank you, Doug. Sounds like you're really elementally oriented. Thank you. And Tina, do you have anything that you'd
Hey,
like to?
I'm up. Yeah, so I brought up in our little breakout group that today marks the 10th anniversary of my sobriety. So,
Oh, wow, congratulations.
thank you. It's nice to spend it with you guys. So, a huge part of my healing of my sobriety was healing a lot of trauma, and a lot of that work came through um, different paths of understanding the elements. And coincidentally, I've recently been um, pulled to the Vajrayana Buddhist path. So when you said it, I was like, oh, there's no coincidence, right?
Right.
So I'm grateful for the healing that comes when you really embrace. Doc had said it when we were in group that, all of the elements in nature is a part of us. And, honoring that, honoring our place in nature and all of the elements themselves has been a huge, huge part of my healing. And I'm just grateful to go in deeper to all those spaces.
Beautiful. That sounds great.
Too.
I love the familiarity. In Karuna, we explore the elements extensively, and then we also explore the Buddha family mandala and its multiple dimensions, which is like drawing on everyone who's ever practiced with that mandala, and that mandala has been on the earth for many years, and we do so ritualistically, and also we use Western psychological dyads and these kinds of things that allow us to go into deeper exploration within ourselves. So we make it very personal and transformative. So, yeah, so I just want to announce a few things, and then if there's any other question and answers, I'm happy to hang out. Uh, we have a class that I'm doing through the Berkeley Shambhala Center called A Deep Dive into Transcending Madness, which is Transcending Madness was a book that Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche put out in 1970. He didn't put it out. He did two seminars in 71, and it was actually put out in the late in the 90s. And basically, this book is very hard to understand, but it's a seminal, it was his seminal work in Buddhist psychology. And he pairs there the bardos with the six realms, if you know anything about Buddhist psychology. So we will take, it starts online for 3 classes, September 4th, 11th, and 18th from 7 to 8:30. And then I have a weekend seminar Saturday all day and half day Sunday, 2 to 5, that allows people to kind of personalize it again. I'm always bringing my Karuna methods into whatever I'm teaching, and also to try to make sense of this book, which is a really challenging book from Trungpa Rinpoche, but a very important book and very profound for our own living. How we live is how we die kind of approach. So a second class we have coming up is embodying compassion through radical honesty, and this is a second part open to newcomers, also part of our Karuna cohort. It's a 4-part class, October, November, December, and January, and you'll be receiving all this in an email, so you can click on it if you're interested. So we're interested in inviting newcomers in because it enriches the community and it brings people in, and we're offering some of our basic components of Karuna training to the public. If people want to go deeper, they need the first class and the second class together to go on into phase 2. So we're just finishing up a class right now, but anyway, we're inviting people into the community at different times, and I hope that you'll consider joining us. And then finally, in February, we're going to continue, and this is a totally open class called Brilliant Sanity, Resting in the Foregrounds of Mindful Presence. It's really on the 4 foundations of mindfulness, but in a very Karuna style, taught by Terry Jaworski and Ina Fuller. And so that'll be an online class also open to everyone, including cohort members. Just it goes right up until phase 2 begins. So I'm letting Karuna know that in case, because we're going to try and market and just give people something to do, and it really grounds people in practice, meditation practice, which is at the foundation of our work, working with space, working with our minds, and understanding we are space. It's all space. We take a very Buddhistic perspective on that. And we also want to be very practical in the relative, because these are challenging times and we need community right now, I think more than ever, to stay in our hearts. And Karuna is about tapping the potency of our heart, which we all possess. So I'm very grateful that you all showed up today. And thank you for your sharing and because it's really helpful for everyone. And I also aspire that the elements just accompany you. You can draw on them. They're available. I talk to them all the time, just like talking to your plants in the garden, right? It's the same thing. So thank you all. Any other final comments? Okay, well, I just want to say that we are a donation-based organization, so if you have it in your heart and you can donate just even $10 for this event, that would be very helpful. But if you can't, we're open. These are live. These are Karuna Lives, and they're free, and we do them. We're also going to start a series of kind of meditations that we're going to put out weekly off of our meditation from our many, we have many faculty, and they have different talents, so we're going to start issuing, so make sure that you get on our mailing list, please. Let's see, I have one new comment here. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you, Tina. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Bye now.